My package finally arrived. Items I'd ordered from NZXT, I've talked about on a couple of the videos. I've got in a combo kit that I ordered from NZXT off of their website, and we're going to be talking about this today and getting it installed. Stay tuned. Okay, so what we've gotten in here is our combo kit we had ordered from NZXT. Now I got to be honest with you, I'm kind of excited about this. This is going to be able to give us some options in this case that we haven't had prior to this. And so what we've got here is the Nzxt Hue Plus. This is their controller for their LED RGB lighting kit. And so this package here includes the Hue Plus plus the 4 LED RGB strips. And then also I've got a AER RGB 120 and 140 fans to go in my case. So this will be the top exhaust, this will be the rear exhaust, and that'll also give us some additional lighting in that case. And I've been going with a red and black theme on this build, and so it's going to be kind of fun to get these items installed in the case there and see what we can do as far as color schemes. We may go with some red and white because I do have some red LED lighting in there on my video card and also on the motherboard. So I think it'll be pretty neat to be able to do some different things and play around with this, the software, the Hue Plus software, the CAM software that controls this. Now this device here will tie directly into the motherboard through USB 2.0 port, and then also this device gets all of its power from a good old Molex connector, and I know we all love those. So probably my one biggest issue with this kit is those Molex connectors. I hate hooking those up. They're always an issue, but other than that, hopefully everything will go great. So we'll get the PC powered down and we'll get the case on the table and we'll get started with this install. Okay, so real quick before we get started on the install, I want to just show you real quick what comes in the Hue Plus kit itself. Now this is just the Hue Plus, this is not the fans, but just so you know what comes in this. You come with the Hue Plus controller, which is this little device here, and it's set up where it will fasten with 4 screws, which they send you with. This will fit in a 2.5-inch drive bay, so that will be visible. There's your Molex power connector. It connects back to this. This is your USB connector, so this connects back to here into your motherboard. And then these are 2 connections. They can either go to LEDs or fans, whatever. This controller really doesn't care. It will power either side, but these are set up that well, our setup's going to be configured is one of these is going to power our LED strips and one's going to power up our fans, and so it will sync up everything through the CAM software that's in there. So these are important, so we'll be using both of those. If we were only doing lighting, we could just use one and then we could go back later and use it, but since we're putting fans in as well, we'll be utilizing both of these, and they do plug in on the front of this controller here. And then we've got just a couple of different size extension cables. This one's a good bit longer than this one, and then here's a couple of short ones if you were to need those. Those do come in the kit along with a little pack of zip ties and of course the screws. And then the biggest thing that comes in there are these LED RGB strips, and these have magnets in them. So there's magnets throughout, and these will, if you got a metal case, these will just stick right in there. Or if you need to put them, say, in an area that didn't have metal, you can peel this 3M tape off the back here and you can fasten those up as well. These ends do come off. That's where you make your connections. These are just on there for protection. So these ends are not where the magnets are. The magnets are actually inside. There's 4 of them per strip, and those magnets is what will hold it to our case. And then we'll be able to tie these together, these strips together, using these different forms of connectors that we have available. So we'll start one strip here, and then from there we can use whichever ones we need in order to place these where we need to place them. So I would recommend take some time and kind of figure out how you want to orientate these on your case, figure out where will be the best place to put them, and then actually begin your install, so that way you'll know which extension cables you will actually need to use. So the fans are pretty straightforward. The fans will daisy chain together back to the connector on here. So we've got both of our fans there. They're still in the box here, but these are fairly simple. They'll just they'll connect right up, and they'll run back through the Hue Plus. The Hue Plus will give them all their commands and stuff. So anyway, just wanted to talk about that real quick, just so you'd have an idea of exactly what comes in the box, and so you'll kind of know what we're going to be working with here today. So we'll get the PC on the table and we'll get started. Okay, so we're ready to actually start installing these two fans, and we've got the controller already installed. It's pre-wired, it's tied into the motherboard already, and so we've got our connection lead coming out of the second port that'll feed up to this first fan, and it's going to feed up into this top corner right here. And what we'll have to do is connect to the in port here on the fan, and then we have a cable here that will connect in this out port, and then it will route back around through the back, and it will come in to the in port on this fan here. So we'll get started on getting this hooked up and getting them mounted in here and getting our cables run, and then we will get to work on kind of trying to figure out where we want to route our LED RGBs. I've just got a couple just kind of stuck in here temporarily, but I've got to actually figure out how I want to route it, and then we'll get that took care of. So we'll get these fans took care of here, and we'll get them installed. Okay, so I've got everything wired up. I've got my fans in, and I've got my LEDs installed as well, and everything's connected to the Hue Plus. The Hue Plus has connection to the Molex power, and it's tied into the motherboard as well. So Took me a little bit of time to figure out how I wanted to wire and route everything. All I have left is just a little bit of cable management in the back, just to get a few things tied up. We'll get the covers back on it, we'll get it back on the desk, we'll get it fired up and let you guys see what the finished product looks like. Okay, so we got everything put back together and got the PC reinstalled on the desktop here. And so I'm going to fire up and let you guys see the finished product. So here we go, power on. I think it's turned out really great. I spent some time going through the CAM software after I got everything powered back up and downloaded that software from NZXT, and I really like it. It does a lot more than just control the lighting for you, even though it's got a lot of preset lighting for different lighting setups. You can go through and do a complete custom setup if you'd like, but also it's got some pretty cool monitoring features. It will monitor your CPU and GPU temps. It looks at the load percentages that are running on them. It looks at the clock speeds that they're running at, fan speeds. Also will show you what kind of load you have running on your RAM, what percentage and how much of it's being occupied. And then also it will monitor your storage data. So I've got 2 drives in this machine and it monitors both of them. So it lets me know how much is used and how much is free. So all in all, I think that's pretty neat. So I didn't really have any problems installing this. The biggest thing was just figuring out how I wanted to configure the LED RGBs, and that worked out pretty good. Just figuring out, how I was going to wire in from one side and then relay them all the way around. But all in all, it's turned out great. So I call this project complete. I really enjoyed doing this. It was a lot of fun. I enjoy doing this kind of thing and tinkering with electronics and those kind of things. So I always find this stuff interesting and a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Would love for you to toss me a like on it if you enjoyed it. And then also, if you be sure to hit the subscribe button, I would love for you to follow along with me on all my future videos. And be sure to catch those other videos that are available on my page as well. And hopefully we'll see you guys in the next video.